In this video, guys, we are going to look at benefits of trading from the hourly time frame. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Right, so hourly time frame. Why should we trade from an hourly time frame? Now, this is obviously for a day trader. But you know, if you're a swing trader as well, you can get some benefit from kind of drilling down without going crazy into your 1 minute. So that's really the first point, guys. There's less noise than the 5 minute, 1 minute, etc. You know, if you get on those time frames, there's a lot of noise there. You think about it, 60 minutes, and now you're gonna get 60 candles for every hour if in a 1 minute time frame. It smooths things out a bit. It allows you to see the bigger picture, and you're not getting caught out. You know, if you're very, very susceptible to over trading, and you know that's an easy trap to fall into if you're day trading, sitting from the screens, I want to trade, you are just going to see those setting up every single minute, or not every single minute, but every kind of much more intervals if you're below an hourly. Whereas an hourly, you know, a candle can kind of be up and down, do a lot of stuff and still, you know, settle as a solid candle or a doji or a hammer, etc. So it just allows you to step back a little bit. It's a good time frame to operate on. Number two, guys, is that you can still see the more dominant trends across multiple days. If you can read my writing there, multiple days, that's the key. It's right, we're looking at the dominant trend because that's going to guide you to where and how to position. You know, if the market is uptrending, but maybe it's stagnating, then if you're so focused on a lower time frame, all you see is a range. But the hourly brings in many more days. So you can see actually it's more like a bull flag. It's more kind of ranging at the top of a move. That's much more useful importance and value than it is just to see a small time frame. So you get to see the more dominant trends across multiple days, which we tend to forget. We tend to put our blinkers on and be focusing on that 5 minute, that 1 minute. The hourly allows us to say, what has this done relative to last week? What has this done relative to a few days ago? How is it positioned? How is it structured? What is it doing? And we can miss that when we go on the lower time frames, guys. An hourly won't let us unless we're zoomed in like some sort of crazy person on just 1 or 2 candles, which we're obviously not going to do. The third thing, guys, is the tails and wicks are still visible and obvious. What do I mean by this? So, you know, sometimes if you go too high, you lose the tail and wick strength, if that makes sense. So with an hour, if the market goes to lows and reverses in an hour, you're going to get that tail on the candlestick. You know, if in a 4 hour it does that and then goes back again, all you're going to see is a solid candle. In actual fact, it might be a big tail on 1 hour, come back up. And I mean, again, it's personal preference, depends on the time frame we're trading. But I like the fact that you can still see tails and wicks and movements and stuff over the hour period that you perhaps wouldn't be able to see on the higher time frames. Because an hour's to me, an hour's a good chunk of time. It's a good chunk of time. So it's enough time for buyers and sellers to agree and disagree on the price of an asset, and for the price to move back and forth, and for us, more importantly, for us to gain information on that, for us to go, okay, this is valuable information. It's a solid green bar off the open, or you know, it's rejected that low. We've seen it in the first hour. It kind of dipped to lows, came back up, put that big hammer in. You know, that's quite important. You know, a 4 hourly, maybe all we see is you know, it open, we see a little bit of a move lower, then it goes higher and it comes back, and it almost feels like it has a couple of cycles in it before you see the candle. Again, personal preference. I know many guys very, very good at trading on a 4 hourly, but I think an hourly is kind of a good sweet spot. And of course, if you go lower, you're in the noise category again. Number 4, intraday double tops and bottoms tend to be better when played out over hours. This, I think, is a good one, overlooked by many. A double bottom or double top, to me, is only valid when there's a fair bit of space in between the two levels. I've talked about this before in a kind of specific video, specific. A bottom made, market pushes back up, goes back down, tests again. But if it tests it too quickly, it's not a double bottom, it's just a trend that looks like it's about to break. You need to see the longer term shift in supply demand and then a retest for it to be valid in my eyes. So the hourly is good because it has that duration. When you're an intraday perspective, you only see it over a couple of hours, so you see it test a level. The other hourly might be like a little candle, it comes back over, so you can visually see it, and you know that if you see it, it's got enough time between lows to make it a valuable and viable, should I say, double bottom. Whereas on a 5 minute, you might see it might be over a kind of 20 minute period. To me, that's not really as viable. Obviously, for scalping, this is different, but if you're slightly higher time frame, you want to trade a double bottom, you want more distance and time and duration between those two tests to prove that there was some buyers coming in, to prove there was someone stepping in at least, even though it has revisited. Let's see what happens. So when you've got an hourly, when you do see a double bottom, you know that it has been enough time in between those two lows. Or double top with flipping on its head. A fifth one is each hour is a significant interval. Algos, top of the hour, etc. What I mean by this, so an hour is an interesting interval because a lot of algorithms will split up, algorithms that are kind of executing orders to try to hide their order flow, not predatory algos, which is looking and trying to spot these algos. And one of the things that we noticed is that, at the top of the hour, that's when algos can kick in. That's when they go, right, we've had an hour, we're at the top of the hour, let's start. And often you get kind of trigger movements off the top of the hour, bottom of the hour. So having an hourly candle that's wrapped around that hour can be more meaningful than an arbitrary number like a 15-minute, because you've got 15, and I like the 15-minute, don't get me wrong, but you've got 4 15-minute candles, they're all looking the same, they're all doing the same thing, and you can't, which one's the top of the hour? You have to then go and put your crosshair in and do that. Whereas if you've got an hourly candle that's at the top of the hour and is built like that, then you can go, right, well, I know that this is the top of it, I know where this has started, where this ended. So in your mind, it's sometimes easier to frame it as well, because it's a key unit for us as humans. An hour is a good unit. 15 minutes, it's not so much, but we know an hour, how important an hour is, because it goes on to the next hour if we're using the clock. So there's something to be said about that. And I quite like the hourly time frame, guys. I think that there's a lot of benefits to it. A few there, plenty more I'm sure you guys can think of as well. But the main thing to me is just easing off on the noise. Not so much noise, nice and chilled. You can step back. If you need to go down the time frames to execute, I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel like you need to have that little bit of granularity and a little bit more vision, then by all means go down a lower time frame. But having a default time frame is not a bad way to operate from. Say, hey, I understand this market, I see the market from this time frame. If I need to go in or out, as the case may be, fine, but I'm always using this as my North Star, so to speak. All right, guys, take care. Come back tomorrow. If you haven't got your notification bell on, I'm sure there'll be a video up. Anyway, guys, take care. See ya. Bye-bye.